Please stand up for recognition if you are from the Abuja chapter. Don't be shy. We want to know, well, you don't know whether there's a gift for the largest chapter well represented here. Okay, thank you very much, Abuja. God bless you. Thank you. Okay, if you're from, now I'm just going to go by zones so that we don't take too many states. If you're from the North Central Zone, please let's see us also stand for recognition. We just want to see how well represented this hall is. North Central. Please let's give them a round of applause. Thank you for coming for the Young Architects Forum. Okay, if you're from the South Zone, any representatives here from the South? Oh, okay, we see, you were all waiting. I almost would have said there's nobody here from the South. Southeast, the Southeast zones. Wow, we have a good number as well, well represented here. Thank you. If you're from the Southwest, Lagos, Ogun, Oyo chapters, Ondo state chapters, thank you, Oshun. Thank you very much. Have I left out any zones? Northwest, we have, Northwest zone. Northeast, okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You all are welcome to this auspicious event. Thank you. All right, like I earlier introduced myself, I'm architect Esther Adebayo. You can call me Aesthetics. That's my alias. Thank you very much. All right, as we know that our theme today in this BGM is Architectural Excellence for Economic Resilience. The Young Architects Forum also would be considering the same topic. Only that this morning, let me just give us a brief rundown. And while I give us a brief rundown, I'll go to the formal introductions. That we're still going to be having a panel session this morning. We have our panelists on ground. We have different areas. We're going to have a workshop this morning as well, and we will see how this entire conversations would go around the topic, architectural excellence for economic resilience. And please, with a standing ovation, can we recognize in our midst our mother, the president of the Nigerian Institute of Architects. She really holds us dear to our hearts. She's decided to identify with us. As a matter of fact, this is our vision in the NIA. Please, let's give her a round of applause as she takes her seat. With the president of the Ghana Institute of Architects, and also Sierra Leone, the vice president, the past president of the Ghana Institute of Architects, and also the president of the Sierra Leone Institute of Architects. Please, let's give them a round of applause. Madam President is rocking our YAF cap, just for you to know that she really means business with this. Please, let's give her a round of applause. Thank you very much, Ma. You're welcome. Thank you, sir. You're welcome. All right. So I'm just going to allow, also seated here in our midst is the chair, the Young Architects Forum, Architect Kelechi Onyinke. Please let's give him a round of applause. We celebrate you, our chair. Thank you very much. We have here also the PRO of the Nigerian Institute of Architects. He's been here even before we started, and he's helped us a lot with all the setting up. So we're glad to have you here in person of architect Chris Uloko. He's also rocking the YAF cap. That's to tell you that he's also identifying with the YAF community. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming, sir. Also seated here before the program even started is also architect Umaru Usman Karaye. He is the chair, Archibuilt Development Services Limited. He's the one that's the head of the Archibuilt exhibition. Thank you very much. Okay, so without much ado and without taking too much of our time, I'd like to just invite upstage architect Kelechi Onyike as he addresses us in this particular program this morning. Please, a round of applause for him.
Madam President, senior architects here, distinguished colleagues, members of the Young Architects Forum, we're delighted to have you here this morning. And it's good to see that this is a first in any BGM. And so we must express our profound appreciation to the current president of the NIA, architect Mobolaji Adeni, FNIA, PNIA, whose vision it has been to unite the body of architects in Nigeria by creating opportunities for connection for every category of architects. And so it's been her vision to create this platform, the Young Architects Forum, which allows for greater engagement of young architects. And it has been a privilege for me helping her implement this vision by engaging young architects. And over the past 2 years, it's been a delightful experience. I've seen so many young architects saying to me that they feel that their voices are being heard. They feel that they have a platform, they have a seat on the table. And it might interest you to know that by virtue of this office as the chair of the Young Architects Forum, the young architects now have a seat at the council, and so we have the opportunity to. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You can applaud more than that. Thank you. And so we have the opportunity now to be part firsthand of the conversations that shape the policy of the NIA. And it has been a privilege for me sitting in those council meetings to be able to share to the young architect community through our WhatsApp platform that has over 2,000 members in real time to let them know what the NIA is saying and what the NIA is doing, and also to let the NIA know what their wishes are. For instance, early this year, we commissioned a salary survey because we know the pain points of most young architects. We commissioned a salary survey that enabled us to see the challenges that young architects face. And the content of that survey was shared to many of the architects that matter, including the members of the Executive Council, also shared within the Association of Consulting Architects. And many senior architects understand the pain points of young architects. So this is just one of the many things that the Young Architects Forum has been able a gap it's been able to bridge. Another gap we've been able to bridge is the mentorship gap. We realize that there are more young architects in need of mentorship than there are mentors available to take them in. And so one of the things we've tried to do as a group is to create opportunities to connect mentees to mentors, because we've recognized that mentorship is one of the most critical ingredients for the development of young architects. And so we've had several online webinars connecting distinguished architects to the young architects community. And we actually even had 2 cohorts of a youth leadership development program. Many of the participants of those 2 cohorts are here and at this BGM. And we allowed opportunities to have seasoned architects mentor these architects on the rudiments of practice, the rudiments of development, because we recognize, like I said, that those early formative years are so crucial to the development of young architects. So we're glad that in this time, we've been able to make that impact and ensure that the Unite agenda has been able to reach to many young architects. And we only hope that this is only the first in many steps, and that in the future years that we'll see this continue to grow and the NIA continue to build on this opportunity. Because truly, young architects are the custodians of our profession's future. And so to neglect the young architects will really be to neglect the future of our profession. So We'll be having, this is the first of 2 sessions. We'll be having this session this morning, and then we'll have our town hall meeting later in the afternoon, but that will be at the Yahaya Hall across the road. So I want to encourage young architects to come. That would even be a very engaging, because we have a town hall, so we can hear the voices of young architects, document it in a communique, and ensure that the NIA knows what the young architects are requesting for. So please make sure you are there, and we'll give opportunity for your voices to be heard. We're honored this morning. Like I said, it's the first time we're having a session dedicated to young architects at our BGM. And it is my honor at this time to invite our Pearl President, a woman for whom I have tremendous love and appreciation, Architect Mobolaji Adeni, to come forward and just address us. Thank you, Ma. Can we applaud her louder, please?
Thank you very much, Architect Kelechi. I see a few old architects here. What are you guys doing here? You are feeling young? You are young? Okay. Well, standing before you is a young architect. Good morning, everybody, once again. Let me recognize very specially my colleague, my friend, a former classmate of mine, President of the Sierra Leone Institute of Architects, Architect Manilius Gaba. He will attest to the fact that when we started off in architecture, we were young, bright-eyed, filled with hopes and expectations. Were our expectations met is the question. I'll go back a little bit in history. When we were in Zaria, because we finished from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, in the class the first year, the professor came and was asking us, why are you studying architecture? Why are you studying architecture? Some people had very high-sounding answers. You know how architects package yourselves. My concept is, you know that, you look for one imaginary thing. People were saying all kinds of highfalutin words. I remember one guy, I don't know if Manny remembers, Oga. He was bigger than most of us, had a deep bass voice. He said, I'm studying architecture because I want to make money. So, he was real. And I'm sure most of you, no matter what it is that pushed you to do architecture, you want to make money, don't you? Architect Karaye, one of the architects that made a lot of money, let me introduce you to everybody. Stand up, let them see you. Architect Karaye, chair ADSL. He made a lot of money. He says, if I say so, so I say so. And then, of course, seated beside him is another female architect, a trailblazer. She also made a lot of money. Architect Oriaku Hansen, stand up. She was chair of Rivers many, many, many years ago. How many years ago? 20 years ago. Now, let me tell you something. I joined NIA actively when I was a young architect. I was only 23 years old when I started my engagement with NIA. And then I started to rise and rise, but I saw that the young people really didn't have a voice. All we went to do at the conferences was look at those big guys in front of us, right? You couldn't talk, you couldn't say anything. All the programs they were organizing, they were not relevant to us. That's the truth. Some professors of architecture come, apologies to them if they're here. They come and blow some grammar and some things that were not really relating to us. So I felt that by the grace of God, and God's grace is always sufficient. I don't know. You've seen my book, Grace-Driven Leadership. God's grace is always sufficient. And I felt by the grace of God, if I ever have an opportunity to be the president of this association, I would ensure that the young people have a voice. It is so important to me. Like he said, What is the future of any organization without the young people? No future. I tell you, I had graduated many, many years before I started learning how to use AutoCAD. Some people in my office had to start teaching me. You have to be reinvented to move on. And so if we have a group that doesn't recognize its youth, but just carry on, no. We will not be able to get the right thing we want for this institute. Moreover, I can see that a lot of young architects are angry, and rightfully too, because you feel that the older architects enjoyed everything and now there's nothing. But architecture is so dynamic that we can also reinvent how we practice and how we earn money. When I said that architect Karaye made a lot of money, he did it in very ingenious ways. I don't know if he's going to get a chance to say a few words on that. A few ingenious ways. He didn't just stay on one lane. And that's the beauty of being architects. We are designers, we are creators, we have the ability to be able to create things that set us apart. And so I'm looking forward to the time when you young guys will take over. Now, I don't want you to be as old as I was before I took over. And that's why I made sure you have a seat in council already. And you're not going to get anything. You're not going to get anything by complaining in the backgrounds, making noise, and not joining the conversation on the table. You must be there. You must make your voice heard. And you must take action. And you must take your place. It's very important. As I was talking, some very senior guys came in. And it warms my heart. Where's Architect Mansour Kofi? I thought I saw him. Hey, you have, this is not young architects, so. Past President Ibrahim Haruna, sir, please come forward. Please, please. We need the young architects to sit in front. Architect Mansour Kofi, Your Royal Majesty, sir, please come forward. I want young architects to know how important that they are. Look at the cream of people that are coming here. Architect Ibrahim Haruna, Architect Mansour Kofi, these are our gurus, our seniors, our elders, the ones who have shaped this institute. And they're not tired. Thank you very much for identifying with the young architects. Architect William Evans, please stand up for recognition. Past President, Ghana Institute of Architects. He said, I must be with the young architects. When he was president, apparently, I didn't copy your notes because I didn't know. My own is a Nigerian drive. He had a Ghanaian drive. He started a Young Architects Forum when he was president. So, I want you to know, young architects, that you have the space in NIA. You're already on ground. Nobody is shifting you. You're not clapping. Are you serious? You're already on ground. Nobody is shifting you. So take a decision to play your part. Play it very well. Make sure that NIA is visible, impactful, and do the best as architects. Architect Gokiomi Bodun, let me welcome you specially. You can't pretend you are not a young architect. You are a young architect. Does the cap define us? Okay. So that's another young architect, Architect Gokiomi Bodun, treasurer of the institute. You don't have a cap, you are not a young architect. Okay, Architect Williams needs a young architect's cap. The same with Architect Mani, if you can give it to them, so they can go and boast and pretend they are young, at least before the end of the year. So, young architects, I don't have too much to say, but to say, I'm so pleased at the pace. Let's clap for Architect Kelechi. You know, when I met him, I just said, look, there's something in you that you must do. He said, this. I said, you are coordinating the young architects. He said he doesn't want to be defined in that space. I said, you will be defined in that space. And he's done such an incredible job. 2,000 of you on the platform. Wow. How many of us are registered? Registered young architects. Registered young architects. Please put your hands up. Registered young architects. Not too many yet. But I fought for you. I want to let you know I fought for you. And the fight goes on. We will ensure that everyone that is eligible to be registered gets registered properly. We were supposed to do another exam because I wanted to make sure that more of you get registered. But somehow, it didn't happen. But I want to give you my assurance that very soon, by the grace of God, in the first few months of next year, we're going to do another exam, and more of you will be registered. So take advantage of the opportunity. Don't get discouraged. The NIA belongs to you. Keep doing what you're doing, and God bless you all.
If it's an appreciation to our dear pale president, can we make it a little bit much more boisterous? Let's make it more intentional, like we really mean it. Like it's not just a ritual, oh, okay, she has spoken, we must clap. Can you just make it much more elaborate? Thank you very much, our dear pale president, Architect Mobolaji Adeni, our grace-driven leader. Please put your hands together for the author, the latest author in our midst also. Thank you very much. Okay, so this program has to really run very quickly. While I was introducing us, just as Madam President walked in, I also want to acknowledge in our midst the head of Akon Lagos, Architect Tofaratik Badamosi. Please put your hands together for him. He's seated here in our midst. He's a pro-YAF person, so I can say that for real. All right. So at this point in time, I'm not going to be doing this together. Can we have our ushers bring up stage about 5 seats? We're going to go straight into the panel session this morning. I mentioned earlier that this morning session has a panel session. Then we have the workshop as well, before we go in for the town hall meeting at the other hall. So we have our panelists already here. Not to worry, the panelists this year that have been selected, they're very relatable to the YAF community. I'm just, in no particular order, I'm just going to introduce them to us. And when the moderator also comes up stage, she's going to also let us know more about them, read their bios to us. Please come up stage. We have Architect Onyema. He's in our midst. Please can we put our hands together for him. He is also one of the members of the Young Architects Forum National Coordinating Team, coordinating the South-South. Yes, the South-South. Thank you very much. Southeast. South-South and Southeast is wearing 2 caps. Okay, we have Architect Olalade Babajide Suleiman in our midst. Thank you for coming. Thank you. All right, so at this point in time, let's just hear when the moderator comes up. We have our moderator here already, Architect Ifoma Unduka. She's going to be moderating this panel session. Please stand up for recognition. Thank you very much. What do you think we're going to be talking about? Madam President didn't see our notes. Like she said, she didn't see the notes of the past presidents of the Ghana Institute of Architects. She didn't see our notes. But one of the very first things that she talked about is talking about why she gave the example of that student in our class that said, the reason why I want to study architecture is to make money. I mean, she didn't see our notes also when the coordinating team decided that the topic for the panel session this morning is also going to be related to money. We're going to be discussing entrepreneurship this morning. Please let's put our hands together. That's what this session is going to be about. We're going to be talking about entrepreneurship, as it concerns the practice of architecture. And when our moderator comes online, up here,
The other two speakers are also the audience, those not in front, like Lucia Agunobi and Precious Moses.
please let's appreciate our chair, Architect Kelechi. Thank you. So I was saying that the topic for this morning is going to border on money. We're going to be talking about money. We're not just going to be having only two panelists. We also have two other panelists in person of architect Lucy. Please let's put our hands together for her. She's seated somewhere in the congregation. Architect Lucy, please stand up for recognition. Oh, okay, she's right there at the back. And we also have Architect Precious Moses. Architect Precious Moses. Thank you. Please, can you come forward? Because we'll be calling you upstage right now. Architect Lucy, Architect Precious, please find your way to the front row, the row just behind Madam President. Thank you. Okay, so at this point in time, I'd like to put down the microphone as I hand over to Architect Ifeoma Nduka. Please let's give her a round of applause as she makes her way up to the stage. Please let's continue to appreciate her as she walks up till she gets seated. Thank you.
Hello. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to the young architects and to the young architects. It's an honor, it's a privilege to be here to be moderating a conversation between important and experienced people in the sector, and I hope to learn as much as you do today. Before I begin, Madam President, I want to ask a question. The friend that said he wanted to make money, did he eventually make the money? We want to know, because these streets, this architectural stress, this thing is too much for us. I will speak for everybody and say that hello? Okay. In the past 3 years, I'm sure I've given up on architecture about 2 times. I gave up. I said I'm not doing it again. It's too much, because you're steady trying to prove value. You're steady trying to buy airtime, data, electricity, send money home. Then you will now do render, do design, do drafting, do working drawing, go to site. And then somebody will now tell you that it's only line that you are drawing. I said, no, I'm not doing it again. I'm going to go and let or something. What's going on with the mic? Hello. Okay. So I said I'm just going to go and learn how to make wigs or something and go online. Open a TikTok account or something. Those people are earning in dollars, Thank you, my love. So, these microphones don't like me. All right, so enough with the chit-chat. My name is Ifeoma Nduka. I am a licensed architect, writer, content creator, project manager sometimes, and a lover of music. Thank you. It's a huge pleasure, like I mentioned, to welcome you to the first session of the Young Architects Forum at this year's NIA BGM. So a quick word about the Young Architects Forum. Although a lot has been said about it, this platform exists to ensure that young architects have visibility, mentorship, and real support as they navigate their early and mid-careers. So basically, it's for people like you and I. Under the leadership of the president, YAF has taken a stronger voice and has become an intentional space for shaping the next generation of practitioners. So today's conversation is necessary because the Nigerian economy continues to challenge architectural practice at every level, from consulting to interior design to construction to manufacturing. But with challenge comes opportunity, and that is what this panel is here to unpack. So we have brought together professionals who represent different aspects of the practice in Nigeria, both mainstream and diversified, so that you can see the full spectrum of what is possible within and around architecture in Nigeria. So without further ado, we're going to call our panelists to come on stage. I'm going to read their profile, and when I'm done, I'll invite them to the stage, and as they're coming, please do well to put your hands together and encourage them because they're about to do something very important. The first panelist, in no particular order. The first panelist is architect Ololade Babajide Suleiman, FNIA. She's going to be representing the consulting aspect of the practice in Nigeria. So I'm going to read out her profile so you understand her accolades. Architect Ololade Babajide Suleiman is an accomplished architect whose career spans architecture, construction, project management, and contract administration. With over 15 years of practice, she has led and contributed to impactful projects across housing, education, commercial, and infrastructure sectors. She's a strong advocate for professional excellence, and she actively advances knowledge sharing within the AEC industry. She's also the author of the Niger Architect's Guide. Her leadership in practice, mentorship, and industry development continues to shape the future of architecture in Nigeria. A round of applause for her, please. While I did my research on her, I realized that she's one of the perfect people to have these conversations with because she has a diverse background. She has a way of centering the feeling of architecture. She's someone who is interested in how a space makes you feel rather than how pretty it looks outside. And you would agree that how beautiful your house is does not do a lot for you if you don't have cross ventilation in your bedrooms. So she's interested in the human experience behind drawings. And growing up between Yaba and Ajegunle before building her practice, she has a grounded perspective. Another round of applause for her, please. The second, I'm going to apologize to architect Onyema. I'm going to call all the women before you, unapologetically. Okay. So, the next panelist is architect Precious Moses, an interior architect. Where is architect Precious Moses? Oh, lovely. Pretty ladies today. Precious Moses is an interior architect whose work bridges design clarity, functionality, and real-world problem solving. She has delivered residential, commercial, and hospitality projects across Nigeria and has collaborated with government agencies, private developers, and international organizations. Precious has taught in the Masters of Interior Design program at Obafemi Awolowo University and leads Zephyr Interior Architects, where she focuses on practical design solutions and mentoring emerging designers. She also serves as the PR lead for IDAN Abuja. A round of applause for her, please. So aside from all of this, she also has an interior design academy where she teaches interior design professionally and trains emerging designers through hands-on education. She's navigating business, leadership, and motherhood simultaneously, which gives her an insight to systems, structure, and balance. You guys, we have bad guys on this panel, I'm telling you. You guys should have paid a ticket or something, right? Okay. I kid. The next panelist is someone whose story is actually inspiring. Architect Lucy Agunobi of TRT Aredo. She's going to be representing the manufacturing and furniture production aspects of the practice in Nigeria. She's the Chief Operating Officer of TRT Aredo, a leading woodwork and furniture manufacturing company in Abuja, Nigeria, where she oversees operations across multiple subsidiaries, including Original Hardware Store and Noble Lighting. With over 18 years of leadership experience, she has spearheaded transformative initiatives in design, manufacturing, and digital innovation. She's currently enrolled in the Executive MBA at IE Business School in Spain. She's deepening her expertise in operations, business transformation, and leadership development. Lucy believes deeply in design as an enabler of business growth and cultural storytelling. She mentors entrepreneurs through the SEED Aspire program and advocates for vulnerable groups through the SOA Foundation. Her work is grounded in a people-first leadership philosophy and the power of entrepreneurship to change the African economy. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I read a story about her, and she was explaining that she was explaining where it was difficult for her to be a 5'3" lady at 26 trying to start a business in Nigeria. She was expressing herself at how difficult it was to actually be seen and noticed to get to the extent. So you would now appreciate what she has had to go through to get to this point. Welcome, Architect Lucy. So now we have introduced all the queens, and we're now going to move on to Architect Onyema, the millennial boss. He's going to be representing the construction, design, and build aspects of the practice here in Nigeria. He is a licensed architect and acquired his first and second degrees in architecture in the University of Nigeria, Enugu campus. His practice career took off in Port Harcourt, where he began as an intern at CAP Consultants. His talent and dedication elevated him to head of this design studio within 4 years. In 2015, he established OUN Developers, an architectural firm with a strong bias for design and innovation. In 2020, he founded Atlas Projects, a spin-off studio focusing on interior design, landscaping, and furniture design. Onyema has served in numerous capacities within the NIA. He was PRO of River State Chapter for 2 terms, Exhibition Committee Secretary for WAF 2.0, and part of the BGM 2023 Planning Committee. He currently serves as a committee member and the Southeast/South-South coordinator for the Young Architects Forum. Awesome, awesome. A round of applause. In his free time, he's a creative writer, landscaper, interior designer, humanitarian, and football lover. You're proudly a Chelsea fan? Okay. He's proudly a Chelsea fan and a fan of the Super Eagles as well. All right, so now that we have introduced these lovely ladies and gentlemen, I think, why does this microphone not like me? Okay. So now that we've introduced these lovely ladies and gentlemen, we're going to begin the conversation. I would like to implore us to have your pen and paper handy, because there's a lot that's going to be coming out of this conversation, and you need to write it down because there's a Q&A section coming up afterwards so that you can ask whatever questions you need answered with regards to your experience, okay? And then afterwards, there's going to be a workshop as well where you meet them, you're closer to them, they're not on stage, they're closer to you, where you can ask them better questions to, help your practice so that you don't give up like me 2 times. All right. So, first of all, before we get into it, it will be interesting to hear a story from someone who, because we can agree that the economy has been on a downward spiral for a very, very long time. In as much as we're having our experiences now. Some years ago, people would swear that that was the worst possible state Nigeria would have ever been. So I'm sure that in the time when they were younger, they had their own challenges and experiences. So I want to know, first of all, to start from the Lagos-born and bred architect Ololade, to try to give us a breeze through of how you were able to get to this point. You know, where you started, what even made you want to suffer this architecture that you are suffering. You know, is it money? If it's money, I don't know. You know, so like what made you want to do this architecture thing, you know, the way you are doing it, and what got you here in the first place? I don't know if we need a second mic. All right.
All right. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. I will sit and stand. Well, I'm sitting, so I'll sit on the existing protocol. But I still have to greet my pale president. Good morning, Ma. And everyone seated, especially those in front, and our young architects also that are behind. So this journey, I deliberately entered this wahala. I'm telling you the truth. It wasn't exactly something that I didn't imagine it to be hard, but as everything, nothing is easy in this life. So I wouldn't say it was, I entered because I was expecting it to be easy. My uncle is a licensed architect. That's my mom's younger brother. And so I remember at the time my father was building his property, and then there were drawings on, drawing tables, blueprints was what they used to work on. And I would visit and have engagements with him regarding my father's house. I was more interested, really, in where my bedroom was going to be placed. I'm the firstborn of 6 children. My father was a doctor. My mom is an educationist. And so I was more interested in my space because being in a house filled with many people, I just wanted my own space. And so I said, you know what, I will draw a plan. And so after looking at what my uncle's blueprints looked like, I went back and I mimicked my own first blueprint plan, and that was where that journey towards architecture started from. So being that my mom is an educationist, she structured my secondary school curriculum to match 3 different careers. But at the point where I decided, my love for fine art was what eventually pushed me to architecture. And that was how the whole journey began. University was a bit of a struggle, but not so much, because we partied hard, we played harder, we worked harder. Everything was in equal balances, right? So I succeeded, and I came out with a 2-1. So it was not very difficult. But I must point out what made architecture eventually very sweet for me. It was while I was a student of architecture. I kept working. I had someone that was close to me at the time, also a student, tell me, if you want to do well and understand everything that you are being taught in this place, I think you need to meet this person. I think you need to meet that person. And so I started leaving studio, going into offices, meeting up with very accomplished architects, some of them not licensed, just practitioners in the space at the time. And my eyes began to open to what it really was. And so I had this unique blend of working in all internship periods. So it wasn't like my official, what we call IT session. No, from my 200 level in the university, I was working holidays. And it wasn't because I was looking for money, right? I was working holidays because I just wanted that immersive experience of what practice was. It was first a design build firm, then another architectural practice, which I worked in for many years until I got licensed. And interestingly enough, the founders of that practice are at the BGM grounds today, and they had the honor of watching me join the College of Fellows at past midnight of that day, and I'm very grateful to God. So that's how the journey was. It's been a mix. But what was helpful, like I said, was that I got that immersive experience as I was being educated as an architect. And so I could relate to what I was being taught and not taught, because most of the information that we are given is not enough for us And it's not supposed to be enough. I was engaging with a foremost educationist in River State, a professor of education, and she was telling me that the university system of teaching is not supposed to teach you everything. They are supposed to teach you how to learn everything. And so you are not supposed to go to university expecting to be taught all you need to know to prepare you for life as an architect once you graduate. And so that was what that thing did for me at the time, and I didn't recognize that that was what it was. And it helped. It really did help in the entire journey. So I sort of had like a hit the ground running moment as soon as I got out of my master's program. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I can actually relate because my father is a builder, a professional builder. So I grew up around a lot of construction. You know, they will pick me up from school and they're taking me to site first before I'm going home. So I can actually relate. That's what even got me into it. The fact that you can, it was fascinating that I could start something from nothing and give someone to use, and it could change their lives. It was amazing. Yeah. Until I left uni and I came out and the economy whooped my ass. Thank you very much, Architect Ololade, for sharing. Another person I would want us to hear from is one who I said had a very inspiring story where she said she was someone who would naturally not be noticed in a room, but made big moves. So you know what? Her portfolio speaks for her wherever you see her. So I've chosen to have her talk because she has been able to successfully diversify her source of income, you know, and her passion. She has moved from being a mainstream architect to doing furniture design and production. So in a few minutes, can you tell us, just like she did, how you got to where you are right now?
Good afternoon, everyone. Also standing on existing protocol, I want to say I'm very honored to be in your midst today. Madam President, thank you for the opportunity. To all the executives, thank you. Just my story is very non-conventional. Just like everybody here, or most people here, I went to design school. I have a BSc from UNEC, and I did my master's in ABU Zaria. And yes, the two very best schools. And it was, for me, very transformative. I got into school, and I loved every bit of it, being in studio, the hustle, the designing. But somewhere, as I was about to graduate, I realized that site work was not for me. I just did not see myself there. And so I started to pray because I'm someone of very strong faith. And so I started to pray to God and say, I want to practice architecture, but I don't want to be doing site work. So what are my options? And somehow I was divinely inspired because there's no other way to tell that story without went through that spiritual journey. And then when I got that inspiration to go into furniture, interiors, it wasn't quite clear. I just knew that it was going to be in that furniture or interior design space. And so I came to Abuja fresh from my NYSC. I told myself, immediately you're done with NYSC, you have 1 month to get a job in a furniture or interior design company. And so I hit the streets. I started calling all my friends who I knew were working in that space and, asking them if they had work and all that. Unfortunately, I got employed in Interior Woodwork Limited. And that was the first time that I had insight that there was such an industry. Because as a design student, you know what you know about, designing and all of that. But I had no awareness that there was such a huge industry with furniture manufacturing in Nigeria. And so I was trained in Interior Woodwork Limited for about 3 years. And then after that, I left and went to do my master's in ABU Zaria. Shortly after that, I got married, and my husband and I decided to start TRT Aredo. The reason why we decided to start TRT was because I noticed while working interior woodwork that the top 4 or 5 companies in the industry were actually owned by foreigners. And my question was, what is it that AFP, the Julius Berger arm of furniture, is doing that Nigerians cannot do? I mean, we have the creativity, we have the creativity, we have the expertise, we have the resilience to succeed in this industry. So why are Nigerians not top on this industry? So then we had AFP, we had Woodco, we had Artscore. Most of these companies headed by Germans, Lebanese. No Nigerians really strongly